Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my kitchen. Today I have a food related video for you, which is why I'm filming in my kitchen. It is a battle of the meal kit subscription services. I only tried out 4, I will admit. I found 7 online, but I decided not to try the Kai box because that's vegan and I just knew that my family would not be interested. I also didn't try Whoop because they don't deliver to my area, and I didn't try Emma's food bag because it was on the pricier side, and when I looked at the menu available for the week, it was just stuff that I knew my family wasn't going to enjoy, and there was a lot of things that I would have to substitute. So I ended up trying and comparing 4: Bargain Box, Kiwi Delish, which used to be Kiwi Fresh, My Food Bag, and HelloFresh. So I'll be sharing my thoughts on those and showing you what meals I had and what substitutions I had to make. So speaking of substitutions, if you've spent any time on my channel, you will know that I have some health issues. I have an autoimmune disease and I have to be very, very careful about what I eat. Some things I'm full on allergic to and I have a really bad reaction and it will make me really, really sick. And some things I just prefer to avoid because I can eat them occasionally, but I don't feel great when I do. So I will put a list on the screen now of all the things that I can't eat. Some of the things with a star next to it are things that I can eat, but I prefer not to, but I don't mind eating occasionally. So as you can see, it is a lot. It is a very restricted diet, and that's one of the things that stopped me from trying these meal kit subscription services before, is I just thought, I'm not going to be able to eat the food that they send, and what's the point in that if I'm having to cook a separate meal for myself? But I was actually pleasantly surprised when I did end up trying the kits, as you will see. I didn't have to make many substitutions. In my family, in case you don't know, it is me, my husband Grant, and we have 2 teenage boys aged 17 and 14. My 17-year-old Daniel eats a lot. He's a growing boy, but he can't eat nuts, so that's a consideration for his diet. And then my 14-year-old Noah, I think he just lives on fresh air. He's also growing rapidly, but I don't know how he fuels himself because he is super, super picky and he would just rather go without than actually eating something he doesn't like. And there are so many things that he doesn't like. So that is what we're catering to with these meal kits. Me with a very restricted diet, my husband who will eat anything, my teenage son who eats a lot but doesn't eat nuts, and then my other teenage son who's a super picky eater. So in trying these different meal kit subscription services, I wanted to check various things. I wanted to see how it would fit in with my diet, with it being so restricted, how many substitutions I would have to make, or if I'd have to cook completely separate meals for myself. I wanted to compare cost per plate. I wanted to see how much plastic packaging they used, and I wanted to see portion size and what the recipes were actually like. Were they easy to make? Did they take a long time to cook? And what kind of variety was presented. The first one I tried was Bargain Box, and it was $199.99 for 5 meals for 4 people. And that works out to $9.99 per plate. So probably cheaper than getting a takeout and eating out at a restaurant, but maybe more expensive than just cooking from scratch in a normal way. They only offer one menu option, Bargain Box, that's it. But they do it to cater to either 2 people, 4 people, or 6 people, and you can choose either 3 meals or 5 meals for the week. So here is how it went. It's Saturday morning and our Bargain Box has arrived. It was supposed to come on Monday, but Monday's a public holiday, so here it is. Okay, so that's everything packed out. I am quite impressed. There is some plastic, but they've put a lot of things into paper, and the more robust produce was just loose in the box, so that's good. The meat and fish and chicken looks good quality. I'm excited. Sorry about the rain outside. There was an extra gift of this juice, which is pleasant. And then here are the recipes. They're like sheets that you can put into a ring binder. For the cold stuff, it was wrapped in these like sustainable wool insulation with these ice packs. And you're supposed to leave it out for your next delivery, and they take them back and reuse them. Although I'm cycling through different boxes, so I don't know when they're going to be able to pick this up. Okay, it's Sunday night. Last night we had friends around, so I didn't do any of the meals. And tonight I've made chicken lasagna. I can't eat anything in the white sauce like all of these, so I'm just making myself something else. But that is the recipe, and Grant and I made it together. How did you find the process?
It's pretty simple, actually.
Quite straightforward.
Yeah.
So we did have lasagna sheets left over, like a lot. We only used 6, and there are 13 in the box. We followed the recipe and they said 2 layers, and then there was a bit of white sauce left over as well. So there's the lasagna. It's just gone into the oven and I will let you know how it tastes. I'm kind of concerned because they said bake for 25 to 30 minutes and the lasagna sheets say ready in 55 minutes. And I've made lasagna before where the sheets haven't fully cooked and it was not great, so we shall see. And that is how mine came out, and it looks like the lasagna sheets are cooked, so we'll see how this tastes. So that's how much was eaten. Grant had some, Noah had some, Daniel had a taste. He doesn't like lasagna, so he didn't want to have more than just a taste, and I had to eat something else. So there's only like a quarter gone. This is going to go on forever, so I might freeze half of it. And Grant really enjoyed it. Even Noah enjoyed it. He said he didn't like the green bits, but he admitted that it was probably just placebo. There is spinach in it, and when he saw it, he was like, oh, what's the green bits? But he actually enjoyed eating it, which is a miracle because he's not a picky eater. So I think this one was a win. It's Monday night, and this is what I've made for dinner. Crispy fish and yakisoba. That is how the picture looks. There's the rest of the recipe. And that is how it's come out. I held back some of the noodles, and I just did pad thai noodles, which I had in the pantry for myself, which is rice noodles, because I can't eat the gluten, and also the teriyaki sauce has gluten in. So I did theirs the way it's supposed to be, took a quarter of the vegetables, did mine with the pad thai noodles, and I did sweet chili sauce instead of the teriyaki sauce. And then there is a sesame mayo to go with it. So that looks delicious, and we're going to eat now. Well, that was super delicious. Everyone enjoyed it. This is all that's left. Grant's going to have that for his lunch tomorrow. My version was delicious. Their version was delicious. Here is tonight's recipe. Huli huli pork nuggets. There's the method. And the only change I made to this was I didn't put the breadcrumbs in. You can see they included half a cup of breadcrumbs for the pork nuggets, and I just left them out. And this is what it looks like. Looks like a lot of food. This is how much slaw there is. You can see my hand for scale. It's a massive amount. The only thing, Grant's had a look and said he wishes there was more sauce, because there's a lot of rice and there's really just a glaze on the pork nuggets. So we shall see how it tastes. Okay, that's how much was left. Daniel said it was okay. Grant and I really enjoyed it. Noah is still eating it. He's our picky eater and he's not mad about it. But I thought it was pretty good. And it was easy to cook as well. Tonight we are having beef steaks and gravy. That is their picture. There's the recipe. And this is how it has turned out. Looks delicious. The changes I made are I did the parsnip separately instead of in the mash because Grant despises parsnip. And I can't eat potatoes, so I did sweet potato mash for myself. And in the gravy, instead of regular flour, I used rice flour. But that's it. And I'm starving. I can't wait to eat this.
Let's do it.
That's all that's left. A couple of pieces of steak. I'm going to have that for lunch tomorrow. Everybody loved it except for Noah. But as mentioned before, he's our picky one. This is the last meal from the box, and I'm pretty sad because it's been a good box. Anyway, this is tonight's dinner. Chili con carne. There's the recipe. Got the sweet chili sour cream there, lettuce, tomato, rice, and the chili. The only changes I've made are... What were the changes I made? I didn't put the corn in there. I've got it separately. I've like been cooking it in the microwave. So there you go. The corn, everyone can put in their own chili. The brown rice came out perfect. And pretty excited about this. I won't be able to eat the sour cream, but I can eat everything else. I mean, to show you guys how much was left over, that much. There's my hand. The boys already packed it away in the fridge. Well, kind of. No bad. Anyway, there's that much rice left. I thought it was quite bland. Daniel thought it was just okay. Grant, what did you think of the food?
I think it was tasty. Yeah.
Noah didn't like it, but there's
Noah
big
doesn't like it.
No, it doesn't like anything.
True story. So my overall thoughts on Bargain Box, I absolutely loved it. I don't know if it was just because it was my first time trying one of these meal kit subscription services, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was fun and exciting to see which recipes they gave us for the week. I found that Grant actually came into the kitchen to help me cook quite often, which never happens, so that was quite good. He kind of got into it. We all mostly enjoyed the food. I don't think there's ever going to be a service where we all love all of the food. Even when I'm just cooking normally, Noah hates 90% of what I make. So there's just going to be no pleasing everybody in our family, but I think this did pretty well. I felt that they were good sized portions. We had leftovers most days, so that was good. You can have them for lunch the next day or just freeze, like the chicken lasagna I put into the freezer for a busy week. I thought the meals were well balanced. There were lots of veggies in them. So for example, in the chili, there's grated carrot and things to bulk it out with veggies. So that was good. And I thought the meals were very flavorsome and that the ingredients provided were good quality. I will say that this particular meal kit service used a lot of pantry items, so do be sure to check the list. They do email you ahead of time to let you know which pantry items you're going to need to have in stock, and do check that because there are some things, for example the sesame oil, that not everybody would normally have in their pantry. So overall, after a very good experience, I cancelled that meal subscription and I moved on to the next one. I'll talk about cancellation and changing them at the end of the video. The next one I tried was Kiwi Delish. They used to be called Kiwi Fresh. I think they probably changed their name because of the clash with HelloFresh. I'm just guessing here. Anyway, their meal kit was $107.99, and that includes shipping. And that was for 3 meals for 4 people. And that worked out to be $8.99 per plate. There is only one menu for the week. You can't choose different options, but they do allow you to choose if you want it for 2 people or 4 people, and there are only 3 meals for the week, and that really annoyed me. Before I even received the box, I was annoyed by that. I'm like, there's 7 days in a week. How is 3 meals actually helpful to me? But I wanted to try them out and test them and compare them, so I just went ahead anyway. Maybe this box would suit people who are super busy. Maybe they have 1 meal a week with their extended family. Maybe they eat out a lot. Maybe they have a very busy life running around to different activities and get takeout. I don't know, but anyway, this one only does 3 meals. Maybe that suits some people. It didn't suit us, but overall here is how our experience with Kiwi Delish went. There's all of the ingredients, and it came with the same kind of ice packs and that reusable wool insulation. I'm kind of confused. I've unpacked everything and put it away, and I've looked through the box and there's no recipes or anything, so I don't know if they've forgotten to put that in or if I just need to find them online, but that's kind of weird. I kind of expected to have a recipe card or sheet to be able to keep. Okay, I've just been onto the website in the frequently asked questions, and it says there that you access the recipes online. They don't print them out and include them. Not sure how I feel about that. Actually, I know how I feel about that. I'm not crazy about that. So this is tonight's recipe. Kind of annoying that I have to do it on the computer. I just feel like they're passing the buck, because either I have to print it out, or I'm running back and forth from the kitchen to my computer, or I'm having to unlock my phone. Anyway, that is how the recipe looks, and it's super easy to make. And here's how it's come out. We have the smashed potatoes with butter. This is the chicken thing. I don't know. I'm not excited about it. And then you're supposed to do spinach with the peas, and I just knew nobody would eat it, so I left the spinach out. Other changes I've made is I've left feta off part of this because I can't eat the feta, and I'm doing sweet potato for myself. I will report back on what everyone thinks of it. So this is how much is left. Noah gave it a 6 out of 10, and that's because it was so bland. Daniel said nothing much to it, and Grant and I both thought it was pretty tasteless, so not overly impressed. It was, however, super easy to make, so I guess that's a plus. This is the recipe I'm doing tonight. Sticky beef and rice, except I can't put the sauce on mine, so I'm gonna have to make some substitutions there. So that's how it's turned out. I had to make my own sticky sauce. I just did some barbecue sauce and sweet chili that I had in the fridge, because there is wheat and I don't know what all in the sauce they provided. I must say, these aren't actually like recipes. They're very, very basic. This was literally like stir fry a bit of the broccoli and carrot, cook rice and cook steaks, and then throw it together with a jar of sauce, which to me isn't really a recipe. And yesterday's was kind of the same, so we'll see how this tastes. I forgot to film footage showing what we actually thought about this meal. We all thought it was very bland and basic. Here is tonight's recipe, if you can call it that. It's some veggies roasted and a pack of bacon cooked. and that's it. There's a bit of pesto to put on, which Daniel and I can't eat, and there's some feta to put on, which I can't eat. And I'm going to have to make amendments because it's just not going to be enough. Also, they said 2 carrots in yesterday's recipe, and then they said 2 carrots in today's recipe, but they only provided 2 carrots, so there were no carrots to go in either. So there's the roasted vegetables and the bacon, and Daniel can have feta, Grant can have feta and pesto. I've actually made some pasta to go with it, just to kind of bulk it out, because it doesn't look like a lot either. I'm supposed to put the spinach in. I didn't do that because I know my family's fussy and they won't eat it. So it's not been great all round with Kiwi Delish. So what did we think of the box overall? This was my least favorite box. Like I said, I was annoyed that there were only 3 meals. I was also super annoyed that I had to go and look up the recipes online or print them out myself. That just really irked me. I felt that none of the recipes were actual recipes. They were so basic. It was like, cook this piece of meat, cook this rice, cook these veg, throw it together maybe with a jar of sauce. And that to me isn't cooking a recipe. Like, anyone can do that without subscribing to a meal kit subscription. Like, I don't know. Maybe that would suit some people who really aren't interested in cooking and just want really super basic things. I don't know, but I just felt that they were a bit of a letdown. They also didn't send me enough carrots. I should have checked at the beginning of the week, but there weren't enough to go around through all the recipes, and there were only 3 recipes, so that bugged me as well. I found that the cooking times weren't necessarily right. For the one recipe, the veggies took way longer to roast than the recipe actually said they would. The portions were okay. We had some leftovers, but that was mainly because nobody really enjoyed the meals. I will say there is one good thing about this meal kit subscription service. For every meal that you order, they donate up to 4 meals for people who are in need. So that's one good thing. But other than that, this was not my favorite, and I won't be using them again. When the next week rolled around, it was time to try the next meal kit subscription, and I went with my food bag. This one was $169.99 for 5 meals for 4 people. They have lots of different options. I'll just read them off my notes. They have classic, fresh start, which is low calories, no refined sugar, lower carbs. They have my family, my veggie, my winter warmers bag, ready in 20, my gourmet, heat to, cook to. So there's 2 recipes in there and 2 meals that are already prepared that you only have to heat up. They have my gluten-free. You can also order them to feed 2 people or 4 people, and you can order 4 or 5 meals a week. I think some of the options only offered 4 meals a week and some were 5 meals a week. So I just went with my family because I wanted to check out the basic family meals and see what substitutions I would have to make. Because if I order my gluten-free, then they're going to probably be corn and potato products, which I can't eat anyway. So here is how our experience went. This week I'm trying my food bag, which is the same company who did Bargain Box. Looks like there's a bonus recipe in there. This is the chilled stuff. My post lady just took all of the old insulation and whatever. Okay, so there's all the fridge bits and the ingredients and some paperwork. Let's see what this is about. What's for dinner? I so appreciate the recipe cards. Now that I've had one that didn't do them. Looks delicious. I've already had a look because they email it to you beforehand. And I'm looking forward to it. One thing that did impress me so far with the meal kits was the packaging. So there's things like breadcrumbs and rice and spice blends, and they are usually included in paper bags, which is so much better than plastic. The meat did come in plastic, so either in vacuum packed plastic, so you don't have the tray to recycle, or they came in trays with a plastic top, but I don't see any other way that you could package meat, so I could kind of forgive the plastic there. Here is tonight's recipe. That is how theirs looks. Just in case you want to make it. And the adaptation is I can't eat potatoes, so I've done sweet potato chips for myself. They roasted the vegetables, but I didn't have room in the oven, so I have steamed them. And the fish, I cooked my fish and then did the fish flour on the rest so that it's not on mine because it's corn flour and I can't eat corn. Just cooking up the last of the fish, but this is how it is looking. There's extra potatoes for the guys because I'm not having my quarter of the potatoes. For the broccoli, baby carrots, got some lemon wedges there. And this tartar sauce, which I'm pretty excited about. There were no leftovers, and everybody enjoyed it except for Noah, who didn't enjoy the fish because he doesn't like anything with flavor. Yeah, it was all really good. Tonight I've gone with this recipe because it was a quick one. I've had a hectic day and it was easy to make. There's the recipe in case you're interested. The only change I've made to it is I've kept off their dressing, and I'm going to put it on ours but not on Daniel's because it's got peanut oil in and he can't eat peanuts. That is the rice, that is the meat, and we're going to eat now. I'm starving. If the lighting looks different, it's because it's the next day. I forgot to update you guys on how this food tasted last night. So Daniel and Grant and I really enjoyed it. I obviously didn't put the dressing in Daniel's, but he added noodles to his, I think, because he wanted a bigger portion, and I think he put sweet chili sauce on. I can't remember. Anyway, Noah gave it a 4 out of 10, but that's because it's quite flavoursome and he is such a picky eater. So he only had a little bit. This is what was left over from Noah's portion, and I'm having it for lunch today. This is tonight's dinner. And I had to do my chicken without the coating on. I did the potatoes and cauliflower separately because I can't eat the potatoes. And this is how it looks. So I didn't pile it together, and I also didn't put the spinach in with the potatoes because I knew my lot would moan. So Noah doesn't have the smoked aioli on his. And I've got rice, brown rice instead of the potatoes. Looks good. Daniel's still asleep, so he hasn't eaten his food. That's how much Grant left of the potatoes, because they were obviously extra because I didn't have my share. I ate all of my food. It was delicious. There's this much cauliflower left. There was a smoked aioli with it that is absolutely divine. So Noah only liked the cucumber. He's not a fan of the rest, even though he didn't have the aioli on his potatoes. And there's going to be a lot left over from him. He's still trying to eat. So this was a win as far as Grant and I are concerned. Noah doesn't count because he doesn't like anything. And Daniel's just woken up, so we'll see what he thinks of it. That's what Daniel left. He was not a fan. For this meal, our friends are moving into a new house, and so I just gave them this meal so that they didn't have to worry about what to cook or getting groceries or getting takeout. So this is what it looks like. Bacon collie mac and cheese. That's the recipe. And then I'll insert some footage that she sent me showing what it looked like after it was cooked, and then I'll let you know what she thought of how it tasted. My friend said that she found the recipe easy to cook and they really enjoyed it, so that was positive. Tonight we are having Mexican pulled beef bowls. So there's brown rice, lettuce, tomato, grated cheese, and you do the sauce and then add in the meat. So the meat came in like a pouch. It was like a slow cooked, pre-cooked meat situation that you added to the sauce ingredients. So I just kept some of the sauce aside and mixed it with a lamb chop for me, because there is potato starch in the meat mixture, which I can't eat potatoes. Here is the recipe. I forgot to show you. We didn't put the coriander on because we think coriander is vile, and unfortunately somebody ate the tomato. So we've got the cheese, we have brown rice, and this is sour cream mixed with like an applewood hot sauce that they provided. I can't eat sour cream, so I did some mayonnaise with it in, and it is delicious. I can't wait to eat it. So we'll see what everyone thinks of this. There's a bit left. Daniel and Grant and I thought it was quite bland, which is why Noah actually didn't mind it. He gave it 6 out of 10. So overall, I found that they were very tasty recipes. They were easy to cook, they didn't take too long to cook, and it was a positive experience overall. We actually had a super hectic week that week. We got takeout one night, we had a meal out one night. It was just crazy. And that's one of the reasons I ended up giving one of the meals to my friend who was moving. We could have eaten it later because it did have long expiry dates on the products, but I just wanted to give it to her to kind of help out in those first few days after moving, so she had a convenient and easy meal to make. I can, however, see how some of these subscription kits can put pressure on families. If you are particularly busy, then you're kind of tied down to having to go home and cook that meal because you don't want things to go to waste. John and Sherry Petersick talked about this in one of their episodes of Young House Love Has a Podcast, how they were doing these meal kit subscriptions, but they actually stopped because they found that they were being tied down to it. For us, it's not a problem. I cook at home 99% of the time. But I can see if you're busy or if you need to be flexible or if plans come up with friends or eating out or whatever, these might not actually work for you, or you may want to have fewer meals for the week. So maybe something like Kiwi Delish would suit you better, or just choosing the kits that have fewer meals. Like you can choose 3 or 4 nights instead of 5. I would recommend to definitely set aside ingredients for certain meals so that they don't get eaten. Also pay attention which ingredients go with which meals. For example, there was half a cauliflower included and I was supposed to use 1/4 in one recipe and 1/4 in another recipe, and I used the whole thing in one of the recipes. So the cauli mac and cheese recipe that I gave to my friend didn't actually have the cauli in it, but she said, you know, they didn't miss it. It was only 1/4 of a cauliflower and it was fine without it. I found the portion sizes were decent, no complaints there. This was a good bag. Next up was HelloFresh. Time to try the one that everybody knows about. I checked out the site, but I hadn't actually ordered straight away, so I was emailed a discount code. So this one ended up costing $139.80, which made each plate cost $6.99. And I ordered the one that had 5 meals for 4 people. If you want to try it, I do actually have a discount code for you. So if you enter Gen Subs when you're ordering your first HelloFresh order, you will get $50 off. I'll put all the details in the description box down below. So here is how it went. Look what's just arrived. Let's have a look what is in here. I've already had the email with the dinners and they look really good, so I'm kind of excited about that. They come with recipe cards. And let me unpack this. Okay, that's interesting. The first thing I notice is that each meal's ingredients are put into a separate bag. So all of the other kits that I've tried, all of the ingredients come in the box and you have to figure out which goes with which. So you can make mistakes like I have, where you get half a cauliflower and it's supposed to go for 2 meals and you accidentally use it all in 1 meal. So that won't happen with this because they're all divided up. I think these are all just pantry items. I assume so, because there's a separate bag which is plant-based. It's not plastic, although it kind of feels like fabric. It kind of feels like, you know, like medical gauze or something. Anyway, it's got these ice packs in and there's all the fridgy things. So I assume it's safe to just pop these into the pantry. And all these like vegetables. I mean, I don't have room in my fridge to stick all of these into the fridge, so I think I might have to open and kind of investigate what's going on in these bags. Okay, in this kit there are things that I would put into the pantry, like potatoes and breadcrumbs, which is in plastic, not paper like the other kits have been. But then there's also things that I would put into the fridge, like the broccoli, the carrots and the rosemary. So although it's a nice idea to package each meal's ingredients together, unless you have a massive fridge and just stick everything into the fridge, I just feel like they need to be unpacked anyway. Just busy unpacking everything into the fridge, and this dill and parsley mayonnaise has smashed open and spilled. So that's unfortunate. Not too bad. Bummer. Okay, so I'm left with the box and the cooler bricks and this kind of insulated bag, and usually the meal kits say that you can send them right back and they'll recycle them, and I'm noticing here this is saying you need to go onto the website to see about recycling, so I'm going to go and have a look there because it doesn't look like they just take it back. Nope, they don't take their packaging back, they just tell you how to recycle it, like use their boxes if you're moving house, for example. Okay, I did manage to fit everything in, so that's all of the chilled stuff, and then I've like shoved the bags in, which is kind of awkward because our normal stuff is just kind of crammed in there, but obviously they'll disappear throughout the week. This is what we're making tonight. That is how their picture looks, and the recipe is on the back. Don't know if you can read any of that. Maybe I'll just do this for you in case you're interested. This is different to any of the other kits that it has the nutrition information on it. I thought this looked quite simple, but now that Grant and I started cooking, I'm actually really excited. It looks pretty tasty. But I wanted to show you these spring onions. They look like leeks. I mean, a spring onion should be, or normally is, like the thickness of your finger, maybe your pinky. Look at these. They're massive, and they're supplied 4. So I put 1 into the slaw, because I thought 4 really thick ones like this would be a bit much. I've never seen spring onions this big. Here's the chicken. Got some wraps and coleslaw. I can't eat the wraps, so I'm having mine on a bit of lettuce, and I'll probably have some sweet potato chips with it. And then there's peanuts to sprinkle on the top, which Daniel can't eat. There were no leftovers. We all enjoyed it. Noah gave it an 8 out of 10, so that's a shocking turn of events. Here is tonight's dinner. Mine does not look as golden as that. Here's the recipe in case you're interested. And in a strange turn of events, I'm the one eating the recipe, well, some of it, and everyone else has the substitution, because I know my lot will not eat this sweet potato. So I've done regular fries for them, oven fries. I've got the sweet potato. My chicken looks a bit insipid. It is cooked through, but there was the tray with the fries on the top rack, so it didn't like get golden. And then there's this kind of green bean spinach salad with like a dressing, and some dill and parsley mayonnaise. So we'll see what everyone thinks of this. I don't think Noah will like it. It's got literally just spinach and feta stuffed in it. There's a little piece of chicken and some of the green bean spinach salad situation left. I enjoyed what I ate. I forgot to mention that I didn't put the spinach and feta mix into mine because I can't eat that, but I did put the like garlic from the garlic oil in. Grant enjoyed it. Daniel didn't hate it, but he didn't love it. Noah didn't really care for it. Here is tonight's meal: crumbed chicken dippers and rosemary roasted potatoes. I despise crumbing and frying things. I don't know why. It's like a complete pet peeve of mine. I just hate doing it. Plus, I can't even eat it, so it's not like I even get the reward. There's a recipe. I'm gonna have to do my chicken just plain, but I suspect my family is going to really enjoy this one. There is a sweet mustard spice blend that goes into the flour that you put on the chicken, but it has no ingredients, so I can't even keep some back and use it on my chicken because I don't know what's in it. So my chicken's just going to be plain. Also, their spice blend packets are plastic, whereas all of the other meal kits have been paper packets. That is how it has turned out. For mine, I just pan fried my chicken with a bit of seasoning, and I did kumara or sweet potato fries because I can't eat the potato. So we'll see what everyone thinks of this. This is all that's left. It's Noah's. Everyone else enjoyed it, but him not so much. It looks burnt on camera. It's not burnt, I promise. I'm just about to do tonight's dinner, and we are on to pork today. It says on it if you should eat it early, and all of the chicken ones said eat me early. They obviously don't want chicken lurking about in your fridge the whole week, so that's why we had chicken 3 days in a row. So now we are on to pork. This is what tonight's dinner looks like, or hopefully will look like. And there is the recipe. You can just pause and read if you want. Now I have my reservations. I'm gonna have to switch out sweet potato for the mashed potato because I can't eat potato. But it says seared pork gets a creamy tarragon infused sauce. I assume Noah's not gonna like the sauce, but that's fine. He doesn't have to have the sauce. And they say, we've taken classic mashed potatoes to new heights by stirring through tangy whole grain mustard. So I have my doubts whether or not Noah's gonna like that. So I may put mustard into my mashed potatoes, my mashed sweet potatoes, and leave it out of the actual mashed potatoes for Noah's portion and put it into Grant's and Daniel's. But I guess that's the beauty of doing these kits, is you can just customize them as you want. There's my plate. I'm going to have more of the whole grain mustard as a sauce because I can't have the sauce because it's basically cream. And there's Grant's plate with the sauce and the potatoes. He didn't want the mustard in the potatoes, and I knew Noah wouldn't, and probably Daniel, so I just left it out. So people can just add what they want. There were no leftovers. Everybody enjoyed it, including Noah. So that was a win. This is the last meal of our experiment, and we have chili tonight. That is how it's supposed to look. Here is the recipe if you want it. Although I have already realized I'm going to have to make a change, and I'll show you in a second what that's going to be. So the flavoring or like seasoning package actually does have ingredients this time, which is good. What is not good is that they put crap in it. So can you see the additives? Flavor enhancer, food acid 330, emulsifier. Why is that necessary? So that's like cheesed me off. So I don't want to eat this. Like, we don't want to eat flavor enhancers. When I cook from scratch, I just want to eat like real food. So I'm going to toss this, and I'm going to look up recipes online for this kind of a chili and replicate those spices, because I just don't want to eat crap. Food additives annoy me so much. Okay, I found a recipe on a blog called sweetpeasandsaffron.com, and I'm just going to make it. I don't have cayenne pepper, so I'm just going to put some chili in. So that's how it's come out. I had to dish Daniel's chili first and then put in the mango chutney because there was macadamias in it and he can't eat nuts. But other than that and making my own seasoning, I didn't change it at all. Grant didn't finish his. He was not a fan. Daniel ate it, but he wasn't a fan. I thought it was quite nice. Noah hasn't had his yet because he's in the bath. He soaks in the bath like a tea bag for like literally an hour. So he hasn't tasted it yet. So that's the last meal from this meal kit experiment, and I guess it's time to formulate my final thoughts. Okay, so my thoughts on this bag. I did actually like the individually packaged meal kits if you can fit them all into your fridge. It was super convenient to just grab a bag, match up the color of the sticker on the bag to the color on the recipe, and know that everything is in there ready to go. They don't recycle the packaging. That was a bummer to me, that I had to find ways to recycle it rather than just sending it back and then reusing it. And there did seem to be a lot of plastic. So things like spice blends, the rice, all the things that were in paper bags in the other meal kits were in plastic bags with HelloFresh, and I didn't appreciate that. They also didn't have the ingredients on the spice blend, so of course I couldn't eat it. They did have ingredients on the other one, as you saw, but I was not impressed with the ingredients, so that was a bit of a bummer too. But I really liked that they include the nutritional information on the recipe. That's really handy if you're counting carbs, or you want to know how much protein is in a meal, or calories, or whatever. So that was good. I found the meals good. I think Grant said that these were his favorite meals out of all of the meal kits that we tried, and I found the portions a decent size. So that is what I tried. Like I said, I didn't try Whoop, I didn't try Emma's Food Back, and I didn't try the Kai box, and I couldn't find any others. So out of the 7, those are the 4 that I did try and what I thought of them. It was with a shock that I realized on the weekend I don't actually have a meal kit subscription coming this week, because I had cancelled all of them when I'd kind of moved on to the next one, and I had to actually plan my own meals. So that was a bit of a bummer. I came down off my high horse and back to real life. I did really like how HelloFresh had everything portioned together, and I'm actually going to be doing that. So I'm going to use plastic baskets in the fridge and put each meal's ingredients in there for the week so that I can just grab it each evening. I mean, if I'm planning the meals for the week anyway, it doesn't take that much extra time to just gather the ingredients together and stash them in one place. My favorites out of all of the kits were my food bag or bargain box, which are both actually the same company, and my least favorite was Kiwi Delish. I did find that I actually spent more on groceries, probably not a surprise, but if I'm spending $140 to $200 on just dinners, that doesn't leave a whole lot left out of my $325 weekly groceries budget to buy breakfast ingredients, lunch ingredients, pantry staples, cleaning products, toilet paper, all the other things that I buy on a grocery shop. So I did end up going over budget for most of the weeks that I was doing these meal kits, so that's something to bear in mind. You do pay for the convenience, but I think I will definitely use at least one of these again in future. I just really enjoyed it. The whole reason I tried this out is because I reached a point where I was just so fed up of planning meals every week and then working out what I need for them and doing the shopping and then invariably having somebody complain about what I made. I was just done and over it. So that's what prompted me to try them in the first place. The way I did my meal planning for this week, now that I'm not on any of these subscription services, was I told my family to tell me what to cook. I was like, give me meals for the week and I will cook them. So that was quite good that I didn't actually have to do the meal planning, and hopefully nobody will complain about what I cook. So that's a way that I've introduced convenience into my meal planning life without actually doing one of these services. But I do think they're great, honestly. So speaking of cancelling the services, you can skip weeks. So let's just say you signed up to Bargain Box and you know you're going away in 3 weeks time, you can skip that week. Or you can schedule an every other week delivery if you prefer to do that. Any of these meal kits you can cancel at any time. There's no lock-in. You can do what I did and just try 1 week and then cancel it. All of them you have to order a week in advance, so do bear that in mind. That is why I realized on Saturday I don't have a meal kit coming this week, because I didn't order one last week Saturday. So do bear that in mind, that you have to order in advance. You can't on Sunday afternoon decide you want a meal kit and expect it to arrive on Monday or Tuesday. It's going to come the following week. You can go on the websites and check out past menus and future menus. If you decide, okay, I'm going to order a box for the future, like a week's time, and you go onto the website and you don't like that week's menu, with some of them you can make some swaps, but not all of them. But you could just choose the following week, because they're going to tell you what they'll be making. I guess if you're on these subscriptions for a long time, you're going to have the same meals kind of rotate in and out. Like there will be popular ones that they will repeat, but I also did like having new recipes to try all of the time. Overall, this has been a fun experiment, and I hope you found this video helpful to have a peek into the kinds of recipes and the kinds of foods and how it fits into somebody who has a restricted diet. I hope that that has been useful to you. If you've tried any of these services, I would love to know what you thought of them, or if you are planning on trying any, let me know which one you think you're going to give a go. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or found it helpful. Hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.